What's up, you guys? Welcome to today's video. As you can tell by the title, I have a very sad story for you guys today, but it has a lot of inspirational twists and turns, and that's why I'm sharing it. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jess. I'm a person in long-term recovery who has in fact been to prison. Ta-da! It's not a flex, it's just a fact. If you want to follow me on any other social media platform, TikTok, Instagram, Patreon, that's $2. It's only ever going to be $2. All of that is linked down below, as well as my vlog channel, my podcast, all of the things. Oh, and there's new merch, so go check that out. Without further ado, let's kick this thing off. I found out about this very strong, very inspirational, and beautiful human being. Her name is Kait on Instagram. And I started seeing these videos pop up that were called Let's Not Rot. And it at first sent chills down my spine because she said that it had been a little over 3 years since her dad killed her mom. And that's the story that I'm going to be sharing with you guys today. Bobette and Michael would get married in 1992 in Las Vegas. And 5 years after that, Kait was born. And following Kait, Andrew was born. And to the outside world, they seemed like a completely normal, whatever that is, family. Everything seemed just like your average little family. Michael struggled to keep jobs, and he was apparently let go from the University of Chicago. He worked in the medical examiner and organ department, and for whatever reason he was let go for unethical practices, and I'm not sure exactly what that means. Michael was very abusive to Bobette and emotionally abusive to the kids. Kait was quoted in saying that she doesn't remember a time where her father wasn't abusive, and they were always walking around on eggshells. There was a point in time when they were very young, the kids, Andrew and Kait, that Bobette tried to escape the first time and leave, and she kind of got trapped. She would always remember the good parts to him. He was very manipulative and very charming to everyone, and that's something that is very apparent in narcissism, is that most people on the outside world think that this person's a good person, and the reality at home is so much darker. Bobette worked at an interior design company while Michael struggled to hold down a job. Kait said that he kind of just sat around all day. Kait and Andrew's childhood was just them walking around on eggshells. He was very emotionally abusive, and he was physically abusive to their mother. Bobette first tried to leave Michael when Kait was just 3 years old. Kait is a self-described shy kid and recalled that her mother experienced physical abuse that resulted in she and her older brother leaving the house for weeks to escape the abuse of her father. Kait was quoted in saying, "I didn't see the physical abuse, but I started to see the verbal and emotional manipulation and started to question it. It really started to form who I was. I was very small, very quiet. I didn't have a lot of friends growing up," she said. "This made me really small as a child. My purpose was to be as agreeable and calm and peaceful as possible, because if I was not, then my mom would get punished." I think that is such an important thing to remember in these abusive relationships, is that even if the partner is not physically hurting the kids, if you are hurting the mother of your kids, you are hurting your kids. If you are hurting the father of your kids, then you are hurting your kids. Kids see that, they feel that, they know that, hey, if I'm not like a really good, really quiet, kind of in the background kid, then my mom is going to get in trouble for my behavior, and he's not going to like that. And that is just a gut-wrenching feeling to think that, my kids have experienced that to some degree, that they were scared. And the last year before I got out of my very abusive relationship, I knew that my kids were really scared. And that is what pushed me to leave. When Kait was about 7, she started playing softball, and that became a comfort thing to her. That became a silver lining. That became something that her and her mom got to do together, and it got them out of the house. And it was just an incredible time that they had together. She would play softball from the age of 7 all the way until college, and she didn't really like softball that much, but it was just an escape. They didn't have a lot of money to travel, but her mom would find a way, because all moms do. We figure it out, we find a way to make it happen. She would travel with Kait and go to all the games, and she remembers sitting in the truck before the games just eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And it's those memories where, even though things are so rough and so bad at home, I can tell by listening to her stories on Instagram and hearing about what actually happened, I can tell that her mom did everything that she could to shield her from that and to create happiness and peace and joy throughout her life. In August of 2019, when Kait was 22, she just graduated from the University of Missouri. And that was the time where Bobette thought that, okay, I can do this now. And she filed for divorce. Bobette moved in with Kait, but the distance between Bobette and Michael, it didn't stop the abuse, it just changed it. He would show up to her work and try to put trackers on her car to stalk her, and it was just a really scary time. Bobette knew in her bones, in her soul, that he was dangerous and he was going to do something to her. But for a few months, Kait and Bobette lived very happily in their apartment, and that was their space. That was their safe haven. That was where they could live and, not be in fear of whatever Michael is going to do. They're not walking around on eggshells, and it was a very special time for both of them. At this time, Bobette would work for the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and she would sit with kids that were going through cancer and that kind of thing. And she would sit and she would talk to them about their dreams and their goals and everything that they wanted to be. You can see in Kait's Insta stories that are so raw and so vulnerable that softness, that love, that genuine energy is all of her mom. In the time leading up to Bobette's death, she would tell her friends that she knew that Michael was going to kill her. It was December 8th of 2019, and Kait was on her way or getting ready to go to a church internship that she had, and she remembers running back into the apartment to get a Diet Coke, and she gave her mom a hug and said, "I love you," and she ran out the door and she went to church. Later that night, Bobette would go to a Christmas party. Around 2 a.m., Kait woke up to this random message from her dad saying, "Take care of the dog." And she had a really weird feeling, but she was able to fall back asleep. The next morning she woke up and she went upstairs to get her mom, and she wasn't there. They had matched the locations on their phone, so Kait pulled up Bobette's location, and it said that she was in the parking lot of their apartment complex. And she said there's no way that she's just now getting home. So Kait looked outside, and there were a sea of cop cars and yellow tape, and she said that she knew immediately what happened. She ran outside, and it felt like she was in a trance, like her body was just going through the motions. She felt so weird, just completely out of body experience. And she said to the cop, "Is my mom dead?" While Kait was asleep, Michael fatally shot Bobette at around 1:45 a.m. that night. And this is where it gets even crazier. He then returned to the home that they had previously had together. He set it on fire to burn it down, and then he shot himself. And in the investigation, cops were able to see a lot of premeditation. He got a storage unit and wanted to protect, certain things that he had put in there. And yeah, he planned the entire thing out. What is even more gut-wrenching is that they were supposed to go to court to start talking about the divorce proceedings. Bobette never really got her freedom, She died married to him, and I guess that was his intent. He didn't want to go through the divorce proceedings, and yeah, he robbed her. He robbed her of everything. He robbed his children of their mother. He robbed his children's mother of freedom and happiness. He took his own life. It's absolutely horrific. So Kait's Insta story, her series of Let's Not Rot, I'll try to play one for you, but I might have to just say it because of the music on the background. YouTube might not like that very much. So if I can play it, I'll just play it here.
It's been a little over 3 years since my mom was murdered by my dad, and I have been struggling to push through the grief. So welcome to day 6 of Let's Not Rot, where I make small choices each day to not rot away the life that I've been given because my mom would be pissed if I did. I hate Tuesdays. Tuesdays I have to work from the office, and it is a tangible reminder that my life has given me over to a cold, dingy cubicle. I am so frustrated that the grief has led to a passionless life with minimal motivation. Quitting feels like admitting failure, but staying feels like hell. I don't know what I want or what direction to move to feel more fulfilled. I often wonder if I'm even capable of having a successful career. I feel lost and held back by my trauma and grief, but I don't have the energy to change anything. So on days like today, the small things really do matter. I had a Greek salad for lunch, my new shoes were delivered, and my dog got some new toys. Small things lead to bigger things, my friends, so let's not rot.
And I think that's so powerful, and I think she's so amazing, and I look forward to those videos. That was the first one that I saw, day 6. The first reaction that I had to seeing that is, oh my God, what if that was my baby? making that video. No matter what you're going through, no matter how hard things are, no matter what grief or trauma that you're going through, it's so important to remember to not rot your life away and to not get so, caught up in the pain of it, to push through and do little things, because little things really do lead to bigger things. And I love Kait. I love everything that she's doing on Instagram. And I felt so compelled to share her story with you guys. I'm so heartbroken for her, but I'm also so proud of her and inspired by her and encouraged by her. Because man, I can't even imagine the pain of losing your mom at the hands of your dad. I will link all of her social media in the description box down below. I'm going to end today's video here. As always, I love you guys. Stay safe, stay in recovery, whatever that looks like to you. And I will see y'all in my next one.